Yes. Welcome everyone to the JARVIS webinar, second webinar for the Open Call 1 opportunity. We're going to be talking today about the essential for successful applying. We have 1 hour prepared for this webinar, and this is our agenda for today. So we're going to have a short welcome. Right after, I'm gonna be presenting you the essentials for the Open Call 1 application, certain do's and don'ts with certain tips, what to do and what to really avoid in your application. Then Zoe will take you through the evaluation criteria and stages, so the whole process that you will have a clear knowledge how your proposal will be evaluated and by who and what will be the criteria, etc. Then we have prepared for you the content regarding 10 months program, what you really can expect once you are really selected. The speaker unfortunately couldn't join us, but we do have a video, so the whole content is prepared for you. Then finally, I will be giving you certain brief information about the funding and how that financial support will be provided to you once you are selected. Then, as usually, we secure a certain time, at least half an hour, for any live questions that you may have. Having said that, we encourage you to post the question whenever you want. We will be, whenever me or Zoe are available, or any of the other team members that are joining from JARVIS will be answering you in the chat, but afterwards in the Q&A session, we will go through and then there will be time dedicated to this. So, yeah, just a reminder. So again, myself, I am Eva Stefanik. I am Innovation Funding Maestra at F6S. In JARVIS, I am managing the Open Call. And I'm moderating the session today for us. Today with me is Zoe Arculi. She's a senior research engineer at LMS, and she's also a project coordinator of JARVIS. And the third speaker that will be with us via video is Axel Transet, senior scientist from Sintef. Zoe, would you like to give a welcome to the attendees? Muted, Zoe, you are muted. Some technical issue. All right, so let me just go further and then you can maybe restart to fix because we will need you, yeah, to speak. So let me continue to informing you that, yeah, this is a follow-up webinar. So we did have already first webinar. It was on the 28th of March. This webinar, of course, was recorded and is already available on our website, also on the YouTube. And in the webinar, that first webinar, we covered the basics, the essential, the fundamentals of even starting to think about the application. So you can go there to have the introduction to JARVIS project, and the key characteristic of the funding opportunity that we are talking all the time about the Open Call 1. And also the core part of that webinar was to presenting you the technical challenges that you can apply to. There were also administrative section, meaning going through all the eligibility criteria and the steps how you can apply. So yeah, this is the material already for you available. Let's go directly to the essentials for your Open Call 1 application, what you should avoid and what we encourage you or recommend you to consider to do. Frequent don'ts, that means frequent mistakes that we observe in the Open Call applications, the one that you can see on the screen. So we have categorized them, and let me just unfold each of them for you with what we really mean. So the first one, lack of alignment with the call. Evaluators that are instructed and are briefed exactly about what is this funding opportunity, what are the key objectives, the expectations, they easily can spot any mismatch. They easily can spot that the proposal that was written have zero knowledge or at least a weak knowledge about the fundamentals from this JARVIS opportunity. And in that case, the proposal is absolutely mismatched with the call and the objectives of the call. and there is demonstrated a lack of understanding of the requirements, especially technical requirements of the usage of certain JARVIS tools in the proposal. So this is of course very basic, and it's up to the applicant if they will read the mandatory documents, at least guidelines for applicants and the technical description of JARVIS as a project and the tools available. Then the second pool of mistakes actually is around the budget and resources, and I'm gonna focus more about this in my next slides. So the most common mistakes is either unrealistic or unjustified budget, and there is a mismatch between the budget and the workload and the team, the staff, general, your plans, what you are intend to achieve. Third one, very, very common, and that leads to very avoidable issues, and it's, I think, the most painful if you received in the evaluation summary report stuff that were clearly written but were not really obeyed by the applicant. So ignoring the instructions. A lot of documents, especially the annex for template proposal, has a clear instructions in the purple font, and if you follow them, you should be absolutely safe with the right proposal. If you don't follow them, it leads to very unclear proposal, very poorly defined tasks, bad formatting, no PDF submission. So if you skip that instruction and you submit in Word, sometimes there is this incompatibility with the Word updates, etc. It absolutely destroys your proposal in terms of formatting, and from the start you already you have a disadvantage in the eyes of evaluators. And a final point, also very common. There is intention to write all what you need to write in these 11 pages in the proposal that is given in the template. So if you are planning to put too many links to the external access of knowledge, evaluators will ignore it, and sometimes even they may take it badly, because the key information should be really written in the proposal. Here and there, from time to time, of course, you can include certain link, but it's gonna be up to evaluator if they're gonna open. What they are contracted is to really evaluate the 11 pages, and they are not obliged to really look into any links that you provide with additional information. So please pay attention to this. And then consortium issues and the weak impact. So what we observe here is the in terms of consortium, can be weak or unbalanced team, not supporting the workload, the expertise that you actually need to perform what you plan in your workload, in your tasks. You write either too poor or absolutely too ambitious and unrealistic plan, given the timeline. Again, a reminder here, we are talking about the 10 months. Program, and very, very important, lack of exploitation. If you don't, I'm gonna be unfolding a little bit more also about this in my upcoming slides. So let's now focus on the budget and resources, because this is something that you have really power over, and hopefully by some of you will use it to prevent this avoidable mistake. So in this Open Call 1, you absolutely cannot apply for higher budget than the maximum available. What it means, the maximum available budget here is 130,000 euro, and that's the maximum. And this is obviously up to you. Can apply for less, but you cannot apply for more. In case in any way in the proposal you're gonna apply, you're gonna write in your proposal any higher number than 130,000 euro, even if it's gonna be 130,001 euro, your proposal will be automatically rejected, because this is the first filter of eligibility criteria. And it doesn't matter if someone's gonna pass by 10 euro, 100 euro, 100,000 euro. The rule is the same and applies to all. And this is the most painful rejection. So please pay attention to this, because we often receive from applicants, why it's just a small amount. It doesn't matter. This is the legal rule that afterwards we are subject of audit, and this type of documents must be absolutely transparent, and there is no space for an exception. So I'm really highlighting this, as it's in every open call is always the same issue, that at least 3 or 2% of applicants make this terrible and a very avoidable mistake. The second mistake, also in this open call, keep in mind that we also have a rule for maximum budget per partner. So not the whole consortium, but also per partner. So you must have at least 2 partners, maximum 3 partners. And the rule number 1 is that the SME and startup, this is a general of the European Commission, in majority of the funding programs, that the maximum budget allowed for SMEs and startups is 60,000 euro. However, here we make a pause because this budget, you can apply for higher budget if it's gonna be clearly justified in your work plan in terms of the task, in terms of the staff that you have engaged. Keep in mind that you as a startup or SME will be also all of the cases you will be a leader, so you also need to remember you're going to have the management responsibilities, maybe dissemination responsibilities, certain extras that will be required for the monitoring processes. So please remember that this, if evaluators clearly see that even if the budget was higher, it is aligned, there is not a problem, yeah? But the rule number 2 is very, very important. So any partner, including startups, SME or end user or university or any other third partner that would be in the consortium, cannot exceed 100,000 euro. And again, this is very avoidable rule, also very painful if you somehow ignore that information. So this is included also in the proposal template under the table of total budget. So please pay attention to this. Another common mistake is to not understanding what is the PM rate and how to really calculate it. So PM rate is a measure used in the European Union, European Commission funded projects. It is a person months that translates to human effort. So, well, in practice, it means like it calculates what we really mean by the effort of one person engaged for this project for 1 month. So the general calculation, if we assume the working week is plus minus 40 hours, that means the 1 person month is equal around 140, 150 hours, yeah? So you need to calculate all this, how if there will be any people 100% engaged to your project, which is rarely the case. Usually people have other obligations and responsibilities, so evaluators easily can spot that there is a mismatch and unrealistic calculation of these PMs. So this is a common mistake as an example. So you either misrepresent or overstate the PM rate. And for example, the simplest example is that for this 10 months program, you are assigning a CEO of a startup or a CEO of an SME with the maximum 10 months of his effort or her effort in this project. It is not possible, not realistic. There are additional other tasks outside of this JARVIS funding project that the CEO would be responsible for. So that simple mistake will be immediately spotted by evaluators, and it can cost you a lot. Moving further, so not understanding what the grant can be spent on and not plan accordingly your task according to the funding. So in the guidelines for applicants, it is clearly stated what this grant is eligible for. And this grant is eligible for, work performed by the employees, so simply paying the salaries, investment in any software or hardware needed, but only the value associated with its depreciation. Travels associated with the project deployment or JARVIS activities. However, keep in mind that evaluators will be reading in your task. Did you plan a travel? Did you plan, is it written in the workload that you're gonna go to conference A, or you're gonna go to this facility to the end user, or you will need to have at least, 5 trips to that facility to test something. If it's not aligned, what is written in the budget and what is written in the task, they immediately put this and take at least -1 point as a mismatch in the budget and work plan. So please pay attention to this, that this document needs to be aligned to all the budget planning. Some of us ask us, what about subcontracting? Subcontracting is general not recommended. I cannot say it's not, it's forbidden, because it's not written like that, but it's not recommended. The usual EC rule is always something a maximum of 15% of subcontracting, but it needs to be super highly justified. You may think about subcontracting for, I don't know, video production or any specific service that you really need but you really miss, and then you need to be very transparent in describing this in the proposal. But usually subcontractors is not well seen. We find the entities and consortium that have skills in-house that are required to perform skills and assets that are in-house to perform what is really required for this opportunity. Moving forward, skipping instructions. Yes, this is something that we can advise. In the end, of course, it's up to you how much attention you're going to be paying for this, but a lot of things are written, and we receive a lot of questions for you where 90% of the answers are written in these two documents. So we are happy to refer to them again, but if in case you don't ask us question and you skip that documents, you are on a high risk to make a mistake in your proposal. So these are not such a long document. So this is the Annex 1 guidelines for applicants. It has 22 pages. You can at least 10 or 20% cut because there are, certain images, pictures, etc. So really talking a relatively not too long document with critical information for you. And this is another absolutely key document that means to understand all the technology behind JARVIS, and you need to know this document very well in order to identify which tools you're gonna be testing from JARVIS. In case you're gonna be coming with the novel ideas, you also need to identify what will be used. At minimum one tool needs to be used, so this needs to be clear understanding of this. Not reading carefully what will be the key focus per each sprint. So you just write the whole proposal with forgetting that it has clear distinctions in the time of periods and the focus. So you are very often asking us for additional materials because you miss the details, etc. Keep in mind that evaluators will receive the same set of information as you. And based on this set of information, they will be evaluating the potential of your proposal and the alignment and match of your proposal, what you really intend to do with JARVIS, with the technology. So they will not receive any additional information that you have received. And it's worth to remember that you are writing this proposal, convincing us that you have clear understanding based on the documents that we share with you. You read them, you have the skills that we seek, you have the expertise, and you are obviously creating certain research, so there can be, you will be developing this, unfolding this use case, so things may pop up. There can be certain deviation that you're going to be fixing afterwards when they may pop up, because then you're going to be checking the compatibility exactly with the technology. You're going to have a mentor. You're going to have the first 2 months if you are selected. So keep here, you have written it's the first 2 months for the requirement. It's a period for the fine-tuning of your use case. Yeah, that will be the time that you're going to be really getting these details. You will be able to, precise the clear deployment plan and adjust and correct perhaps something that you will understand, so needs to be really adjusted to reality. So keep in mind also that JARVIS is also a research project. So we are also developing what the whole team, the whole consortium is constantly building and improving, expanding the tools that we have listed to you. So the tools that we have listed to you, 1 month ago in the documents, they will look different in September, meaning not very different, but there will be an advancement in this. So you need to really adapt to the knowledge that you have to now and write absolutely the best proposals based on the materials available. We don't do any one-to-one calls with any of the applicants. We don't provide any extra information. We can, if you ask for certain specification via email, we do answer this if you have very concrete questions, but that's the maximum what we provide. And the documents that are available are sufficient to really write that proposal with the potential. Further, ignoring requirements, again in the documents, not deleting the instruction in your template proposal, then you end up with longer proposal than 11 pages. Evaluators are confused. What is the instructions if you change the font from the purple? What is actually your content? There is unnecessary mess and confusion. So please very carefully read, especially this first page of the proposal template, what we will ask you to do. It's clearly written here. Here is about the links, about the page limitation. And here is really clearly written that you need to delay this page of instructions. You need to delay the guidance. Actually, here written in blue. We need to change for the purple, or if someone is daltonist. But in general, the guidance needs to be really deleted, and we really need to upload the document, the PDF. Yeah, this is very simple information and very often skipped, and then costs really points. And sometimes that one point really decides if you are selected or not. And again, as I mentioned, here are very clear requirements per each in each section of the template, what you will need to include in that section. And if it's a section so short and it's really written how many pages you have for that section, please stick to this. And you're gonna be on the safe side, and don't forget to delete all these instructions. Don't change to the small font 8 or 9, so evaluators cannot read. Just simply delete the instruction once you are ready with your proposal. So we have let's move from what we actually encourage you to do, what we really recommend you to do, and I'm gonna be a bit faster on this. So matching the key ingredients for a smooth and clear proposal. So keep in mind that you are building the storyline, and to build a good storyline, you need to know all the ingredients of this storyline and of this proposal to match what we really want from you. So you need to know all the main objectives of the call clearly. You need to know expectation per each sprint, so you really clearly adapt each task per each sprint, and that's gonna be also mentioned by in another presentation. And you need to clearly know the evaluation criteria. So all this needs to be really synchronized, so you are aware of each of these and build a proposal upon all these 3 elements. Before submitting, we strongly recommend you that be your own evaluator. Check again the evaluation criteria and be transparent and critical with your own proposal. Did I really include all of those, sub criteria in my proposal? Does it say something about this or not? Because evaluators will be using this one-to-one to really evaluate. They will not be using anything else. They will be using this criteria, giving point or not. So this is a simple advice, but very often also missed, because we know how is the word, submitting everything the last minute, but then it can cost you also a point. And remember, it's very important, or what I mentioned, sometimes that point may decide you are funded or not, because applicants forget, or not forget, but don't pay attention. There is this clear scale of scores, and you don't want to be in any of the scores between 0 and 2. That means you really fail, there is mismatch, misunderstanding, and you will be already automatically rejected, as the threshold is 3. But looking at the positive side, you also don't want to be only in 3, because good is not enough to be funded. You need to really strive for the maximum scores. And I believe here is the final recommendation. Keep your proposal clean, pay attention to the formatting. There are certain evaluators that they see a messy proposal. It's hard to follow, understand the tired already. So keep it really aligned and clean the form. Follow the template, but don't be afraid to stand out. So you can include guns, screenshot. We encourage you to include images, certain schemes that will facilitate for evaluators visualizing the potential of your proposal. If you are building the consortium, especially with the third partner, but it is required anyway for the 2 partners that are mandatory, please focus on the fusion and explain to evaluators why you are such a great team, where is this match, who's gonna be delivering what's gonna be the added value in which task delivered by which partner. And in the section of the team, of the consortium, is really important that you understand what team you are putting there and what skills the team really have, because again, it needs to reflect your proposal plan. And the final slide from the essentials of the recommendation do's and don'ts is don't forget about dissemination exploitation plans. These days, it's more required by the European Commission that exploitation plans are visible and not also from the third parties in that funding projects. If you don't have the knowledge what is exploitation plans, Google it. There's a lot of information on the European Commission site. And please plan that include the exploitation plan in your proposal. And Zoe, I'm gonna stop sharing and you can go ahead. Do we have already fixed? Yeah, we did. Okay, amazing.
Yeah, it's fixed now, so I have the chance to welcome here the participants. Good morning from my side. I am Zoe Arkouli. I'm a senior engineer at the Laboratory for Manufacturing Systems and Automation, LMS. And I'm also the coordinator of the project. So today in my presentation, which I hope you can see now, right?
Yeah, we can see Zoe, so you can go ahead.
I will focus on the evaluation process. So as you can see, it's consisted of 3 phases. The first one focuses on eligibility checks. It was a bit introduced by Eva. We will see some details next. So it's mainly an administrative step to verify the completeness and formal compliance of the submitted proposals. Next, eligible proposals move on to the next phase, which is the evaluation by external experts based on predefined criteria that we will see. And finally, the shortlisted proposals will go through an online interview phase with the JARVIS evaluators so that we can have the 8 proposals that will be selected for contracting. So eligibility was quite elaborated by Eva. Here I would like to just make you pay attention to one, be on time. So 5th of May is the last day to submit, and it's at 5 CT, the time of closing the open call. The consortia, what we're looking for, it's a consortia of a minimum 2 to 3 entities, including an SME, technology adopter, or end user. And we also want to see alignment with the JARVIS objectives, the objectives of the Open Call 1. And of course, we need to see compliancy with the Horizon rules, with the Horizon Europe rules. So some other aspects we will look, it's the presence of legal entities in eligible countries, whether the entity appears to be in several proposals. We only allow one entity per proposal. Each entity should apply only for one proposal. Otherwise, the proposals are rejected. So we will also check for potential conflicts of interest, as Eva said, the requested funding amount, and of course proposals should be written in English, okay? So then the eligible proposals will move to the next phase, whereas the proposals that are not eligible will be informed by an email. So in the phase 2, we have the proposals given to external evaluators. These evaluators will be selected based on their experience in the fields relevant to the JARVIS Open Call and the technologies that are involved. Here you can see the 4 categories of criteria. Each of the criteria has a minimum threshold of 3 to 5. So as Eva said, 0 to 2 are negative scores and 3 to 5 are positive. For the concept innovation criteria, we evaluate the originality, relevance, feasibility, and overall technical soundness of the proposal solution. Here we also want to see how you envision the JARVIS tools to add value on your solution. So please make sure to elaborate and explain how the JARVIS tools that we have available for this call are matched and complement what you already have. At this stage, we just want to see the concept, not details about integration. Then we have the second criteria, which is technology implementation approach. Here we will assess the quality and credibility of the technical plan, including milestones, validation strategy, and engagement with the JARVIS team. So here you can have like some stages where you envision iterations with the JARVIS team. Third, we see the impact. Here we want to see how you consider that the expected solution will provide benefits, industrial and societal, the market potential, scalability, and as Eva said, exploitation plan. Some hints at least, because of course in 11 pages it's not possible to do some detailed plan. And finally, we have the applicant team. Here we want to see that you have the capacity as a consortium to host the final demonstration. And we would like to see that you are a nice team complementing each other. You have qualifications, technical and business experience, as well as the operational and financial capacity to implement the pilot. Each of these criteria are equally weighted. And sorry, 1 minute. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Can you hear me, or is there any
Yes,
sound?
everything okay. You can continue.
Okay. So each criteria is equally weighted. The total score is the sum of the 4 individual scores. However, here, as we see, during this evaluation of the external experts, criteria scored above 3 will be moving to the next phase, whereas the rest of okay, so sorry for the interruption. Criteria that scored less than 3 will be rejected and will be informed by an email. And then proposals that scored in total less than 15 will also be rejected and will be informed by an email. Following that, there will be a consensus meeting. Anyway, following that, there will be a panel meeting with all the evaluators where we will have the ranking of all proposals. So all the evaluators will discuss about the best proposals, and we aim that with this meeting we will smooth human factors, and we will have the final selection of the proposals to be invited for an online interview. The online interview will be with the JARVIS team. Each participant will be asked to give a 15-minute speech so that we understand better some aspects that are not clear in the proposals, and there's the possibility after the pitch to do some Q&A. And then there will be the final ranking of the 8 proposals to be selected. We will invite proposals for contracting, and then there will be some other proposals in reserve list. So in case that for some reason the selected proposals do not proceed with contracting, we will inform proposals in the reserve list to move on to the next stages. There's also the possibility for redress, and this will last for 3 days after you receive your evaluation report. So this was pretty much my presentation. Let us know if you have any questions.
All right, thank you so much, Zoe. I don't know if that was noticed, but at least I was missed for 2 minutes. I don't know what happened, and that means I think recording was missed, but then we will catch that 1 or 2 minutes of if it's gonna turn out that there was recording missing. But let's move forward with the presentation. So I'm gonna share now the input from the speaker that unfortunately couldn't be with us today, so from Axel, and he gives you very brief information what you can really expect once you are selected, and that potentially can also help you now how to build your proposal accordingly. So we hope this video will be playing.
Hi, my name is Axel Saransat. I'm a senior scientist at SINTEF, and which is a partner in the JARVIS project. So I'm here to tell you a little bit about the 10-month funded program for JARVIS funded projects. I'll share my screen. Right, so in short, what is the project mentoring and evaluation of the JARVIS funded projects, also called experiments? Well, the experiments are expected to start at minimum TRL, Technology Readiness Level 4, and then proceed to at least TRL 7 during this 10-month period. So the mentoring and evaluation, it will start with a kickoff meeting between the JARVIS mentors and the experiment team, meaning you guys, if you get funded. And what is the mentoring team? Well, a mentoring team consists of, as minimum, an innovation mentor and an SSH mentor. The innovation mentor is the main contact point between the external pilot, your team, and the JARVIS project. The innovation mentor can provide inputs on technical aspects, innovation, and also involve other people from JARVIS if necessary. The SSH mentor, on the other hand, are more on the user-centric side, societal, regulatory consideration, insights from social sciences and humanities. And then for some projects, there will be an industry mentor representing a relevant sector, but this will be decided on from a experiment pilot from a case-to-case on a case-to-case basis. Your team will also have access to JARVIS tools, and I'll be talking about them in a couple of slides. And then there will be 3 sprints, and for each sprint there will be an evaluation by the mentors as well as a JARVIS project internal evaluator. So the external pilot program, as I mentioned, it's in 3 sprints. And for each sprint, there are some concrete means of verification. And for each sprint, as long as the evaluation from the deliverables that you provide are accepted and approved, then there will be funding released. So the first sprint is on the requirements, the second is on deployment and development, and the third is on validation. And as you see, for the some of the means of verifications here are reports, one-pagers on dissemination material, videos of demonstrators that you provide, and also dissemination such as social media posts. So as I mentioned, there are some tools available, technology tools available for you to use in your project. These tools are being developed by the JARVIS partners, and they include functionalities such as object recognition, tail operation, teaching by demonstration, and task planning, etc. Robots are not included as tools and are not provided by JARVIS, but the software is provided, and it is expected that the external pilots use at least one of these tools. So regarding the evaluation, there are several KPIs. Of the overall KPIs, your team should provide a successful demonstration of the use case that you have pitched, and you should have used at least one of the JARVIS tools to some extent. There's also a KPI on operator acceptance, and then in addition to those three, you can choose two of the below KPIs shown in the list here. So, for example, reduction of human exposure to harmful environments, reduction in the time it takes for reconfiguration and programming, reduction of cycle time. The cycle time is perhaps mostly relevant for the manufacturing use cases, but it can also be relevant for the others. And then you could consider looking into ergonomic conditions. In addition to the overall KPIs, there are dissemination KPIs, such as making public announcements, making videos of your prototype demonstrations, and not only at the end, but also during the work, social media posts, and a blog post for the JARVIS website. This is a very nice opportunity for you to get visibility about your company and the companies in your team and the results you're producing. So finally, for this part of the presentation, and also finally for your project, if it gets funded, is that you should provide a demonstration of the solution that you're developing. The solution should have some kind of incorporation of JARVIS tools, also called JARVIS selected functionalities in the information about the open call. And such a demonstration can be documented via video, for example, and then the video can be provided. And then also you should provide a report showing testing and describing testing with actual users. And last but not least, your go-to-market strategy. That was all about the program for now. Thank you.
Perfect. So we can move forward, and Lee's gonna be very last 3 slides, and then we're gonna move to any questions. I did have answered some questions already via chat, but so maybe you can also look if we have any new. Funding. So how you're gonna be funded? So JARVIS is a result-driven, provided as a payment in lump sum way. What actually it means? So if case it's your first time that you will be applying for the lump sum funding opportunities from public money, from the European Commission money, it means that in order for you to receive the payment, you need to prove the work and the achievements that were according to what was written in the contract, in the sub-grant agreement that you're gonna be signing, yeah. And we're gonna verify it, as Axel just mentioned, through deliverables and KPIs and any other measurable requirements that will be listed in your proposal. Your promises, what you really gonna achieve in a form of results and outcomes. What it means that we will not be requesting from you timesheets or invoices. We will not be requesting from you any information on the actual cost, but we will be requesting from you all these technical documents. They need to be clear and transparent. All the KPIs that Axel mentioned, you need to, of course, have a way to prove how you really measure this, etc., etc. So these are the information that we will be collecting, as they will be required for our audit. Having said that, you as a beneficiary or a legal entity, you are obliged by your own national law to keep your documents clear and financial documents clear in case of any audit or tax-related issues in your mother country. So this is the full responsibility of beneficiaries. Yes, so for our potential audits, we need to keep all the technical documents, meaning all the deliverables, videos, everything that you're gonna produce as measure of verification that actually were funded based on the results that you have delivered. So in practice, all what Axel really said, that's how it looks in practice. So Per each sprint, you have a set of specific deliverables, specific KPIs, and any additional requirements listed in the guidelines for applicants. And, this is selected extra KPIs. And then we make, after each sprint, a review. We check you have submitted everything is correct, the KPIs are checked, mentor doesn't have any issues, then it means the payment is released. So the 30%, and we repeat the same process after sprint 2 and after the final sprint 3. If you want to learn more, this is also provided in the Annex 1, financial support in the guidelines for applicants. I believe that was my last slide, so we have now the whole rest of the time to spend on any questions that you may have. And let me see if I see any question. So far we have one question that was not open yet, answered yet. Will one submission per challenge be selected, or the 8 finance projects could be from the same challenge? No,
So, Eva, can I show my screen for replying this one, please?
Yes. Okay.
Okay, so please give me some time to share the screen.
Meanwhile, I can start answering, and then you will support.
So,
For the capacity.
can you see my screen here with, okay, so for this question, we would like to point out that the proposals will be ranked based on their overall score, firstly. Okay, then in case we have in the same position some proposals, we will firstly evaluate technology better fit to JARVIS. So this is the main priority, technology better fit. Then, if we still have proposals in the same place, we will evaluate impact. Then we will evaluate lower funding. Then number of female researchers. And at the end, we will try to have one proposal per challenge. But as you see, we have several other criteria that we evaluate first. And the last thing to consider, if we still have proposals in the same position, we will try to have like one proposal per challenge selected. But that's the last thing that we will consider. I hope it's clear.
Thank you, Zoe. So let's move to another question. After the conclusion of the 10 months, can we continue to use the JARVIS tools in the prototype we developed? I don't know, Zoe, if you want to answer. I can give you the general answer that for the duration of the funding, that means FCTP, for the 10 months, you have a free access to these tools. Afterwards, if the beneficiary wants to use it, it really requires additional agreement. What will be the conditions? What form? Is it a license? That everything depends, and it requires one-to-one negotiation between the JARVIS and the JARVIS is not like a one company. JARVIS is a consortium built by the partners, and each of the tools that you have seen, so there is a certain partner responsible to provide certain tools. So if you will be interested in one tool, you may need to then be very have that direct negotiation with the partner. But also JARVIS is the project that will be still going for another 2 years. So correct me if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And we are also building our commercialization strategy. So we will give you the answer once you're gonna, probably once you are selected, we will be having a better idea, and we'll be also thinking how to solve that needs. So next question. Are there any additional sources of technical information about the JARVIS tools? Are there any demonstrations? It is important to understand the functionality and plan the activities accordingly. So maybe I'm gonna, and then so you can follow up. I'm gonna really repeat what I really mentioned before. Evaluators and applicants have access to the same set of information. That means all the documents that are publicly available. The challenges were explained also in the webinar 1, which is recorded and which is available. We do not provide any additional reports or information. We do answer specific questions that the applicant can have when building the proposal, and he or she knows exactly, you know, the concern or the question that needs to be verified, but there will not be provided any additional information. And I want to really highlight that every applicant builds the potential for the best match and for the compatibility based on the information available. And the first 2 months once you are selected is dedicated for fine-tuning the use case. And that's the period where, you know, there are adjustments made whenever necessary regarding any technologies or tools that are selected. So do you want to add anything to this, what I said?
No. Just to add, to emphasize that during this project of 10 months, the pilots, the external pilots and JARVIS consortium will have iterations, and there will be a collaboration to facilitate the integration of the tools that are described as a high-level concept right now in the annexes, so that they can enhance the added value of the solutions. So, like, we could advise you to select which one of the tools, modality, functionalities that we describe in the technical description better fits your idea. And then by iterations, we can fine-tune how this will be actually integrated in the solutions.
If there are additional questions regarding this, please feel free to follow up in the chat, and we will we will add additional layer of answer. But now we are moving to another question. My team and I are students at NTNU in Norway who is guided by Transit, and we have agreed on a pilot project with an end user. But we have not formally made a company with VAT number. We have started the process but won't receive the VAT before the 5th of May. Is it still possible to apply? The VAT is not going to be ready later. I don't know if your company was in general legally established. We have that requirement that was mentioned in the first webinar, that you need to be at least in terms of SMEs and startups, you need to be formally registered at least for 1 year. So from what you really wrote, it seems that you wouldn't pass that. Yeah, go ahead, Zoe, because I see you want to answer this question live.
No, sorry, I'm just moving out questions that
all right.
were
Yes.
replied. Yeah, sorry.
So if we misunderstood your question, you can also feel free to contact us via email. Actually, let me share again the screen so everyone will see the email and the contact details. That will be useful when we speak. Yes, so I hope that is answered. Is there any specific benefit, disadvantage for transnational consortia? We don't give any extra points. Evaluators will not be briefed for giving any preference. It is not written in the evaluation criteria. What will be taken into account is the fusion of the added value that you will be able to describe. But whether it's the companies are from the same country or from 2 different countries, formally it doesn't have any extra values that will be transmitted in extra points. But of course, we would be happy to have very diverse consortia, yeah? Also in terms of geographical distribution. Let's go to the next one. The Open Call is beyond JARVIS pilot. The project we propose should be in different areas or can be also in one of the areas of the pilots. Zoe, I let you to take this one specifically.
Okay, so the main driver for this open call is to see how human-robot collaboration can add value and improve complex tasks. And it's mainly for cases outside what we're working on JARVIS. So we have 4 pilots coming from the automotive, aeronautics, and energy sectors. Of course, these pilots have specific requirements. So if you think that you have a pilot from similar or same sectors, you could try to apply. Yeah, we won't evaluate better like how much you differ from the Jarvis case. We will stick to if the solution is feasible, relevant with the Jarvis objectives, and if it shows added value in human-robot collaboration.
Yes, so in a nutshell, it's not forbidden. You just need to be careful not to overlap. What we already doing in Jarvis needs to be something as an extra, an advancement that will be of added value for us. Next question. The train model developed with the object recognition tool ready for the application of the specific. So read meanwhile also because it seems a lot of technical questions. So it's good that you will take over this. The train model developed with the object recognition tool ready for the application of the specific experimental use case presented in the proposal. How is regulated for intellectual property? Object recognition classification and pose estimation, AI-driven vision systems allowing for object classification which can be used for environment perception, product variant and discrepancies detection. Applicants may provide the annotated data needed for the model to work, and Jarvis will return the trained model ready for application. I don't fully understand the question. Where is the question here? We do have in the project, in the consortium, a specific partner responsible for all the ethics. And we are, let me tell you, it's very significant and very well monitored and also required by the European Commission. And good point, your question is good in that aspect that the third parties that will be engaging with us, they will be also going through certain scanning to make sure that in terms of AI requirements, everything is correct according to the guidelines given by the European Commission. In terms of intellectual property, I didn't understand the question, whether there's a question here, so I may maybe ask to rephrase and then we will be happy to answer. Okay, I don't see.
Maybe I have some additional comment. So here we provide the model and we request participants to provide the annotated data. So if the question is about who keeps intellectual property of data, they remain to the participant. If we have intellectual property data question, it remains to the participant. But this is further analyzed in the contract that will be signed afterwards. So, yeah, if you have more questions, you could see Annex 6, where we have the tentative draft of the contract that is about to be signed.
I don't see more questions, so I'm gonna give some minutes if someone. Oh, there's another question. Some Jarvis tools require training of AI models. I think that's the same person rephrasing the question. Will we have help from Jarvis partners with the AI model training during the implementation of the project, or should we cover this task within our team? So you can take a closer look. The final last question.
Yeah. Okay, so as you know, to train models, we need some data. Data, typically, we have to label them. So the effort to label data, it's on the third party, clearly, 100%. So the input to the Jarvis tool is the annotated data. Once we have this data, we will support you in running this model that we have, and then you get the results and you use it as you see fit in your application. I hope this helps. So we have effort for data annotation, running the model and integrating the results to the rest of the application from the third party. And we have effort from Jarvis to support during integration of the tool.
Yes, I think it's clear. I don't see for now another questions. So basically our time is over, but in case someone would still pop up question right now, you would take it. So let's just give, I don't see that someone is typing. So I would say we can assume that we are good to really end this webinar. From my side, thank you so much for your participation. This webinar, of course, is recorded and will be published as a source of additional information on our website, also on the JARVIS YouTube channel. We encourage you to go and start the application if you haven't done it yet. F6S platform allows you to register and build your proposal, meaning the application form and proposal are two different things, ongoingly before the deadline. So don't wait until the last moment. Also, usually, there can be a traffic. So if all the partners suddenly wants to really submit all this proposal, so please don't wait. That's not something that you can really avoid. Zoe, any final words before we go?
Yes, I would like to thank you all for your interest. We are very happy to see that we have already applications working, and I will be very excited to see your proposals, your proposed ideas at the end on the online interview.
Great. So thank you so much. Good luck to everyone, and hopefully to connect with some of you in September when you are selected. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, good luck. Bye bye.